Welcome in. I'm going to give just a moment while everybody hops on. And while I do that, I would like for you to type in the chat a little bit about you. Nothing, of course, long or anything, but just your name, if you feel comfortable, your location, and if you feel comfortable, and something unique about you. And I don't want to hear anybody say there's nothing unique or special about me, because there's something special and unique about absolutely everyone. So just take a few moments and do that. I want everybody to know, and I put this in the email out, but just in case you're like me and don't get a chance to read through emails, if there's a question that you have for me through this, please, if it's a very important one and you definitely want it to get answered, please do not put it in the group chat. Please put it in the private message to me, so that I can have a list and know exactly which ones I've reached, which ones I haven't reached, okay? If it is personal, I will get back to you privately in email. And if it is not personal and it's something I can quickly answer through our class, I will do that. If it is something that you don't mind that anybody answers, feel free to put it in the group chat, okay? And it looks like almost everybody's hopped on. We're waiting on 2 more people. So let's go ahead and just do some breathing really quick, because this class is going to be talking about our wonderful nervous system and endocrine system and how they work together. And our breath and sound really shift within both of them. And so if we can just get a calm, letting all the stress go state before we jump in, I found that really helps breathe things into fruition. So let's go ahead and exhale out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Very good. And I see everybody is now hopped on. So today we are going to be talking about our endocrine system, our nervous system, as we have talked about, and how we get to override them when it becomes, what's the word? Automated for us. All right, and we will talk about what that means. In this class, we will cover our introduction as well as module 1, and then the next class we will cover module 2. If you would like to stay for the open discussion after this class, feel free to. We will be open discussion about everything we've covered today. For those who would like to go into deeper kind of talk group stuff, you're welcome to. You can come anonymously. You can come with your camera turned on or turned off. I will also be doing a totality of health session after our original discussion, and I will be covering and holding space for an open discussion after the totality of health session as well. If you are unfamiliar with what that means, you can go to my classroom and pull up, I believe it is called My Session Information, and it says Totality of Health on the picture. If you do have your PDF for this class, please go ahead and either pull that up or get your printed pages out. And if you would like to have the PDF for this class, feel free to let me know and I can tag it here in the chats. Or you can simply go to my classroom on School Wild Wellness Blossoms and grab it. Okay, yeah, you want the link? Let me put this in here really quick for you. All right, so there is the link for the PDF for this class. As you can see, there's many different modules and there's many different things in there. Once you pull it up, just simply go to start with the hey there. So I go ahead and click on that. And for this class, with all of my things, I do suggest having some sort of notebook or paper or something to write on, for many different reasons. All right, so let's start with about why we struggle. Who here, and I just want to, yes or no, have you ever struggled with anything in your life? Has that struggle been recurring? Has that struggle kept you from doing things that you wanted to be doing? Has that struggle kept you from doing things to the potential that you wanted to be doing things? Has that struggle echoed through any of your family? Has that struggle followed you from what age? If you could give it an age. Now, I would like for you to quickly, on your notebook paper, or if you have your PDF, if you on the back or whatever you want to do with it, I would like for you to take an event, something that has occurred. You could use the struggle that may have just popped up, but I'd like for you to take an event that you have experienced in your life, and I would like for you to allow yourself to simply see the struggles that it has had or that it has caused. Okay, so maybe the struggles within it and the struggles that it has caused. And I would also like for you to give it a number from 0 to 20, 0 being completely, I'll use the word neutral, where it doesn't bother you, it doesn't send any type of sensation in your body, it doesn't cause a struggle anymore, where you can sit kind of as the observer and be like, oh yeah, this is a part of me, this was an experience that I had. All the way to the number 20, where it's very heavy, where it is excruciating, where it is the most pain that you can imagine, that is causing the most struggle that you can imagine. And I don't want you to jump into it. I don't want you to give it details. I don't want you to do anything other than simply, you can even just give it a color, you can give it a number. Again, the number that we do need to have, but you can give it just a shape. You can give it a scribble, whatever it is, a title, a word, but just an event. And when you're done, go ahead and put done in the chat, and I will wait for everybody. And while you're doing that, I'm just going to let you know why we're doing it. So this classroom helps you understand the process of what your nervous system, your endocrine system, and your brain all have together, and what is actually occurring and how it's all working inside of you, inside your body, your emotions, and how the patternings begin to shift and begin to form. So we'll take this as an example. Imagine that this is a event. This is a problem. This is a struggle. This is a trigger. This is a trauma. All right. This is our nervous system. And our nervous system in our spine goes up and down, and then it branches out in all these different areas, right? So we're going to say that this is here, and that this is a situation in your life that formed, and it brings, we'll use anxiety. And so every time your nervous system flows through, it gets to this, and it gets stuck, wherever it might get stuck, right? It's like a roadblock. and the nervous system cannot get through. And so when that happens, it senses this as a problem, and then it goes in here and it grabs out the things that are in here, the things that happen at millisecond speeds. All right, this is very, very fast, and it files through it really quickly, and it says, okay, this experience that they are feeling right now is this same kind of experience. It holds the same kind of frequency, dynamic, and emotion. It's going to go into this bowl. Now, this bowl is the fight bowl. All right, because the nervous system holds different types of traumas. We have fight, flight, freeze, fawn. This is a fight bowl. So, what's going to then shoot in millisecond speed up to your brain to tell you to fight for whatever is occurring. All right. So we in this class is going to help you understand and learn and gain the awareness. That's all I can do. I can share details with you. I can share information with you, but it's up to you to put it into implementation and to utilize the information accordingly, because only you have the power to change you, to heal you, to put you into a different state of your nervous system, to override the atomic patternings. So we're going to talk about how we can do that. We are also going to be talking about failure and how failure gets so misinterpreted, because failure is not something that is you're not choosing that. You aren't choosing to not succeed. You are not choosing to be stuck, so to say. You are simply living and being exactly how your brain, your nervous system, your endocrine system are programmed to be, okay? It is not your fault. It is not your fault about why you might procrastinate, or why you might avoid, or why you might have these emotional situations or anxiety attacks, or why you might not have known better. Okay, the whole point is that you wouldn't be having those things if you knew better. So this class is basically going to give you the information of how to know better with the background of why it's important. And then again, in my tools classroom or my totality of health sessions, my totality of health doula sessions, helping it all gain tools to completely bring your nervous system into regulation. But what I found is, for those who come to just the sessions and they skip over actual understanding of this information, they have to come to more sessions. And my hope and my desire and my angst for doing all of this is to where you come, you gain the information, I give you the guidance on how to do the sessions and how to use the tools and how to help cultivate those tools individually for you if you choose to do that, so that you can not rely on anybody but yourself for a very huge aspect of your being. All right, and not only for yourself, but for your children, for your friends, for your family. And this, what we're going to be learning in this classroom, holds the basic dynamic of all of it. All right. So whenever we interpret these patternings of so unquote failures, we must understand that those are signals and programs caused by our nervous system's responses to the programming of our consciousness. All right. So our consciousness state holds 10%. So if you ever hear me talk about the 10 folders, I'm talking about the 10% of our consciousness. And I see it and I view it as there's 10 different folders. Okay. Number 1 folder being the most important. Number 10 folder being kind of like, at the end, in each folder having a different category. Okay. So, and in each category of each folder, there's different filing systems. Again, with the numbers, which is important goes in the first, the least important goes in the back. And then our subconscious is the 90% of us that programs those folders. And this classroom is going to help you bring the understanding of how I work the sessions, and the different tools, and the neuroscience and the science behind it is what this classroom is going to give you, the explanation and the realization of how it all works, so to say. So I want you to most importantly know that this classroom is going to help you understand the importance and the how to shift your autonomic survival systems into your conscious regulation state, into your self-safety state, and into your self-nervous system regulated state. This is not about forcing anything. This is not about becoming disciplined. This is not about setting schedules or anything like that. This is simply just allowing the awareness to be given so that you can understand that your nervous system has been fighting for you and how to make it stop fighting for you and what that means. Because when our nervous system is able to relax and stop fighting for us, stop covering us with this program of this ball, again being the fight one, we can then override that. And our nervous system can go into a place of ease and flow. Now, I want you to understand that it is not your fault. Nothing is your fault. And nothing is your parents' fault. Nothing is anybody's fault. The only fault that we can put fault on is the space of where we lost disconnection with this knowingness, where we lost disconnection of the importance of nervous system regulation, what that is and what that looks like. And if we quickly look into the animal world, right? Even if we go back, just years ago when we were all like living in caves and things, let's quickly, gently, I want you to ease into this gently, also take the westernized cry it out method. Okay, this is just a very quick, simple baseline that really helps with the understanding of what we're going to be talking about. So, in the westernized world, the cry it out method, we are told by doctors, professionals that we trust, that it is best for our babies to not sleep with us and to regulate themselves, to not run to them immediately when they need us, and to let them cry it out. Now, when we go into the animal world, if we go back when we were cavemen, and we have all these predators, if we see antelope and a lion, the babies aren't allowed to sit there and cry it out, because if they did, the predators would find them immediately and everything would be wiped out besides predators, right? So our nervous system has not changed, and our endocrine system has not changed in the way that it is designed. As much as humans have changed things, we have not been able, nor will ever, change the way that we are designed. The first part of us as we develop is our nervous system. Our nervous system is the most gentle aspect of us. And the reason that we have so much disconnect within our society and generations and things within our emotions, and why these trauma states are so imperative and basically running our entire country, is because we have become so disconnected with our primal aspects. So our nervous system is only meant to be stuck in the state of fight, as an example, for 15 seconds. And I'm going to use the cried out method because I do want everybody to know that when I talk about trauma, I'm not talking about just what we consider things as trauma. I'm talking about what the nervous system sees as trauma. And the nervous system sees something as simple as, if you were a baby and you were crying for more than 15 seconds without being nourished by your mom or your father, or your mother or father. Because as parents, we are our children's nervous system regulation stations. That's what I've come to time it as. You know, if you are going to the gas station because your gas tank is empty, same thing, only different. We are filling our children and ourselves at the same time with regulation nervous system energy. Now, when we bring them close and we do skin to skin and we talk, we hum, we sing, things vibrate. We can feel, if you set your hands on your chest, you can feel the vibration. Now, when we're holding our children close to us and we're singing, we're humming, we're speaking, whatever it might be, those frequencies are vibrating straight into them as well. Again, we don't have to say things, but if we're trying to soothe them, the shh, 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 shh doesn't do a whole lot because it doesn't bring that vibration through the chest. It doesn't bring that vibration through the heart space. But if we hum, you can feel the vibration, you can hear the vibration. And so you're having all these different regulations at one time occur. Now, I want it to be known that we cannot blame parents for doing the cried out method because they have been told that that was the safest. We also cannot blame our parents or other people for not knowing things that they didn't know or not giving us things that they didn't give us, because the truth is, regardless the horrible things that I know occurs due to the work that I do, I know that it's not easy to not feel anger towards somebody. But whenever we do that, we again are encapsulating even more that atomic override system of our nervous system. The exact same thing that we are trying to move on from. So this class is going to be talking a lot about those kinds of things, what that means, and we will be diving into the generational aspects because we have a lot of generational patternings when it comes to our nervous system due to, again, it's the first part of us, and we do not only gain the cellular aspects of our parents and our generations before us, we also gain the emotional aspects of our parents and our generations before us, as well as what is occurring around our parents while we are in the womb. So for a lot of us, we are born in states of override, trauma, survival, fear, fawn, whatever your nervous system chose to protect you in the womb. I believe that it is stated that over 99% of Americans are in survival states from the time that they are infants, toddlers, and beyond. Most people in America, it is said that we are living in trauma states of autonomic nervous system overrides. Because, again, that disconnection. Even for instance, sending our children to daycares or preschools or whatever it might be, and if the child does not feel completely safe, again, those overridden things come. And then through the years, anytime that we feel those different emotions, going to fill in on there as well, we have think of these bowls, we have different bowls inside of each system within us. And if we talk about chakras, it is the same thing as our endocrine system. Our endocrine system is our chakra system. It is the same exact thing, different verbiage depending on what you're kind of talking about. But for this classroom, if I say chakras or if I say endocrine system, I want you to know that it's the same, all right? So in our endocrine system, we have, at the bottom, we have the anger, and we also have, the opposites within these systems. But I'm going to be talking about what I call the shadow aspects or the trauma aspects for this class being. So we have our anger station, we have our sadness station, we have our fear station, we have our hate station, we have our untruth station, we have our unknowingness station. And each of those stations have different emotions within them. So, and they each have different frequencies within those different emotions, right? Let's see, I don't have my emotion system over here. For those of you who have the PDF, the next 2 days, hop back on it, and or whenever you get a chance, and I will have the picture of what I call my emotion gradient. I don't have a name for it yet. But it'll help you kind of see as a visual what I'm talking about. So with those, that's where we get, and then of course there's different bowls depending on where we're at. And it's also important to know that our emotions get stored within our fat cells as well. And I will go into the endocrine system and how they formulate our emotions inside of our cells and things like that. Now, with that said, does anybody have any questions before we move on? Has any, okay. You're just gonna take it all in. Has anybody heard any of this kind of stuff before who is here right now? Or is all of this like brand new information? Perfect. I have never had a group of people that this is all 100% new to. This is very exciting for me. And I hope it's exciting for you, because it really, really helps shift things very quickly when you simply hold the awareness of it. It takes the pressure and the weight off, I feel. Does anybody want to share anything? And no worries. Yes, I am recording the class, but I am not recording it on here, so the recorded video will not show the chat. It will not show anything. It will simply just show me providing the class. And so if you're watching the recorded version, if the angle of the camera is strange, if I look like I'm looking away or anything like that, it's because I have 2 modems going. I have one for the live class and I have one for the recorded class. All right, so I want everybody to now know that this class is really based on not only science but also neuroscience, and it is going to help us understand how and why we think, we feel, all the things we've talked about, the repeated patterns, the procrastination, the not good enough, the limited beliefs, and how learning the nervous system with the brain function and emotional awareness and endocrinology, as well as the behavioral conditioning, that we will be able to discover that our survival wiring influences us every single day, how it influences us every single day, and how we can override it so it doesn't influence us every single day. We will cover different practical tools and emotional building intelligence manufacturing things to bring us self-regulation, to provide us self-trust, what that is and what that means and how to embody it, and as well as to bring the ability to sit within our conscious rewiring of these patterns to bring us greater health, deeper connection, align us with more of our purpose. Finding out what our purpose might be if we don't know what our purpose might be, and allowing our personal empowerment to become our signature baseline versus our autonomic nervous system survival state baseline. And if we do the sessions, if you do the sessions with me, either individually, group, recorded, however it might be, that will become even more of a full process. Yes, yes, I will talk about my tiers. So I have just the PDF files. You can come on here and you can grab. Some of them will have video links. They won't have all of the videos because that's the second tier. The second tier provides the PDFs and all of the recorded videos. And then the top tier is now the live. You get the PDFs, you get the recordings, you get the sessions, the group sessions, and If you choose to utilize my one-on-one sessions, you get a discount for that as well. Yes. Yep. So again, I want to implement that you are not broken and nothing is your fault. I want you to write that down. I want you to take a new piece of paper and I want you to fill that paper as big as you can. I am not broken. Nothing is my fault. And I want you to put that piece of paper somewhere that you will see it instantly every single day. And if you want to put numerous papers around your house, please do. Put it in your car, put it on your phone, put it in your phone background, however you want to do it, whatever you want to see, I want you to see that every single day. Every single day. You are not broken. Nothing is your fault. Okay? And I want you at the bottom of it, I want you to put, I prioritize my safety over possibility. I prioritize my safety over possibility. So we will also be talking about how our nervous system is obviously a big part of this, and how our brain uses our emotions, our hormones, our behaviors, and generational coding that work together to shape our reality. So if you are not familiar with the understanding that nobody sees two colors the same, nobody experiences the same thing, I could have, you could be sitting here next to me and we would be experiencing two completely different things. This is where, like when I'm working with relationships and families and kids and things like that, that baseline of understanding when it comes to our nervous system is so imperative when we are communicating with other people. Because based on our baseline energy compared to their baseline energy, our emotions and our realization of our reality of all of the different things we just talked about, our hormones, our emotions, our behaviors, our generational coding, our societal coding, they're all different between absolutely everybody. Even if you live in the same home, grew up in the same home, you experience different things. Every child has a different version of their parents, and every parent has a different version of their child. Same with your friends. And it's not a bad thing, it just is what it is, and holding that understanding is imperative when it comes to being able to reprogram your automatic survival state brain, so to say. So when we learn that discomfort is not unsafe, and we learn that discomfort is power, we then are able to teach our brain and how to grow around those implementations of our survival states and begin to reprogram and change the possibilities from an unlimited, or from limitedness to unlimitedness. When we begin to gain our power back, we begin to put our pieces back. And this class allows you to understand why that's important and how to do it. I do need to remind everybody I am not a medical doctor, and I cannot treat, heal, or diagnose anybody. I am simply just sharing information and providing everything that I can to you. And you can take what you would like and leave what you do not. So, with all of that said, I would like you to now take your original event, and I would like you to sit with it and see if anything has shifted from what we have covered so far before we hop into Module 1. I'll give you a couple minutes to do that. When you are done, please put in the comments "done" so I do not leave anybody lingering. And I see your questions coming in. Yes, I do offer the one-on-one sessions as well as group. With the one-on-one sessions, we do go very, very deep because I can customize those to you. And yes, I teach through my sessions. Yes, the one-on-one sessions. Now, are you wanting to maybe offer? You wanting to offer the sessions to like your family and things? Okay, so that would be under my doula, because my doula training. Because in order to host a session or to like guide other people through the sessions, so much needs to be known. And yeah, that makes sense. Okay. But yes, I do, through my sessions, I do teach you how to do these things for yourself. And of course, you can take and share your knowledge and wisdom. But as far as like if you want to offer the sessions, I'm guessing you've been to my session. We can talk about that in the session discussion. Today. Perfect. All right, module 1. Welcome to the power of you. So now that we have covered what we covered, I hope you're able to understand why I've named this classroom the power of you. Here we are going to be talking about why humans behave the way that we do, how we are not broken and how things are not our fault, how our brain is and what our brain is doing and how it is designed to do it, and that it's doing exactly as it is designed to do. We're going to be covering the survival versus the conscious living states as talked about. And we're going to be talking about more of the nervous system awareness. So let's take another big deep breath. I want you to understand again that you are a human operating through your brain, and your brain is operating in the way that it is programmed with your nervous system, endocrine system, body emotions, experiences, and learned patternings from generational and societal implementations, and therefore developing your reality of the life that you have lived and are experiencing in this moment. Many of us have been taught that there is something wrong if we struggle with anything, motivation, meeting our goals, not eating correctly, if we struggle with different types of addiction or self-sabotage, whatever it might be. But the neuroscience allows us to understand that that is the furthest thing from the truth, that those are all simply just challenges and behavioral patternings and stuckness and roadblocks within our nervous system caused from us not being connected to us. And all of those things are happening to keep you alive. So our survival states of our nervous system, our survival brain, is not worried about if we are happy, if we are living our best life, if we are doing things that bring us everything that we want and desire. It is simply covering the basis of our human animal aspect. By that means, are we safe? Is this stuff familiar? Could this stuff hurt me? Is there an easier way? Have I already done an easier way? What's an easier way to go? And am I going to feel better right now, instantly? Because for thousands of years, that is how the human have been kept alive. Again, going back to cavemen in the animal kingdom world, right? Like the babies don't sit there and cry until they self-soothe, because things would get wiped out. We have been programmed like this since the first human, because again, it is our nervous system is the first part of us. As great as science is, that hasn't changed. So the problem with our modern life is that our nervous system has not been taken care of. The knowingness and the awareness of our nervous system, our emotions, and all of those things, our family unit, have been catastrophically just tossed away, I'll say. And this is why we procrastinate. This is why we avoid. It's because our brain responds to emotional discomfort in the same way that it responds to emotional danger. It's why we stay in unhealthy relationships, environments, workplaces. It's why we repeat family patternings. It's why, we might numb out or overeat or distract ourselves. Why we doom scroll. It might be why we struggle to follow through with our things. It might be why we set goals and then we just let them go because we might think to ourselves there's no point. Because these roadblocks, we might be stuck down here. We might come up here and then we get dropped back down. But when we aren't aware of the things that we're covering in this class and different tools that you have the ability to learn, the sessions you can come to, it's never going to get overrid and be put back into neutral. And it's not because you're lazy. It's not because you don't want to. It's not because you don't have discipline. It's simply just because the survival aspect of how you are created, of your brain, has been programmed. All right? Again, if you do not have the PDF, I want you to write this down. Your survival brain covers and exists only to keep you safe, to avoid pain, to only feel comfort and to get comfort as quickly as possible, how to repeat and gain familiar responses and situations, how to reduce any uncertainty, because if you have uncertainty, you're not safe, and how to seek immediate relief, that immediate gratification that keeps you in those cycles, that keeps you in that stuckness, that keeps you in that safety aspect. Okay? Again, your survival brain does not care what you want to do. It only cares about those main points, all right? It cares that if you are surviving, and if you are breathing into your survival brain, you are surviving. So, your conscious brain, which is the 10%, the 10 folders, allows you to dream. It allows you to create. It allows you to imagine and plan and play and discover and connect and build and be. But what it doesn't do is mesh with your survival brain. Think of it as two polarizing magnetics. All right? As soon as you begin to dream, your dream with your conscious state of your brain and your being, your 10% of you, this survival is going to say, nope, 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 not safe, not safe, not safe. Until you can overcome that survival brain and harness all of the possibilities. And a lot of that, we're going to learn about the background of it in this classroom. And then in these sessions and the tools is where we're going to gain the full cycle of neutralizing, reprogramming, and bringing the nervous system into a state of safety and regulation. So the challenges that many of us experience is from states that are actually our power. So the states that are actually our power are the things that our survival brain is trying to keep us from. The states of our power are the exact opposite of what people would think they are. So the states of our power is our discomfort. The states of our power is our fear and our uncertainty and our vulnerability and our not really wanting. our rejection by that is what I mean. Our states of power is our shame, our failures, our illusions. All of those things are illusions. That is why it is our power. And being able to regulate it and see it for what it is and provide it with what it needs allows ourselves to hold the power to overdrive it into our conscious brain. We can overdrive it by sending those signals into our system that we are safe and we are okay, and regulating through them with our tools, with the totality of health sessions, and sending it into our subconscious, our 90% of us, to reprogram, to allow our survival brain, which we're going to talk about more in the next module, to become reprogrammed into this state of safety, into the state of it is not failure, it is not scary, it is not discomfort, it is power. Because we have the power of you to change, the power of you to heal, to grow, to regulate, the power of you to be connected and safe and secure. So, again, recap. The nervous system is collecting information from you externally of what is going around you at every single moment and every single millisecond, as well as what is going on inside of you in every single moment and every single millisecond within all of you. Okay, it is consistently scanning and asking, are you safe? Are you connected? Are you threatened? Should you move? Should you pull back? And then it can go into what state of nervous system override does it need to be in. Fear, as an example. Fawn, flight, fight. Okay? Should you avoid? What should you do? And then it's going to tell your brain, signal to your brain, whatever programming needs to occur in this moment. But more than that. So say you have a trigger and it pulls up this bowl. And this bowl is the original one we talked about in the beginning, where it is a state of fight. And it is caused from when you were in the state of an infant and you didn't get cuddled and regulated. And I think I might have forgot this point. If I didn't, I apologize. And if I did, I apologize. And if I didn't, here's just another thing. I want you to write down that parents are the children's nervous system regulation station. The parents are the children's nervous system regulation station, and that they can only be that for their children if they hold a nervous system of regulation within inside of themselves. A parent with an unregulated nervous system cannot be the nervous system regulation station for their child. Okay? That does not mean that the parents do not love the child. It simply means that they do not hold the ability inside of themselves to provide that for their children, no matter how much skin to skin or what have you. So this work is so important on so many different aspects. A lot of disconnection within family units, within children's and parents and things happen simply because the parents don't hold that connection and that regulation within inside of themselves, again, due to the disconnection caused through the society and generational programmings and expectations. All right. Another expectation of societal programming that has done harm for centuries is men don't cry, women are too emotional, or things like that. The most important and powerful aspects of us is our emotions, because if you don't know already from my blabbering in this class, the most important aspects of us and the first aspects of us and the last aspects of us when we come into this world and when we go out of this world is our nervous system and our endocrine system, and that is our emotions. So many of these responses as adults or different ages, what I was going to get into, is they become programmed at whatever age we were when they originally occurred. So say this bowl occurred when we were an infant, right? This fight response, the tantrums, anything that we are around in our life, in our world, that we are experiencing, that brings that similarity of emotion to us, we then get pinged in our nervous system in milliseconds to this bowl, to that situation, and we react in our survival state immediately. So a tantrum, a fight, a punching on the wall, whatever it might be, all right? And if we have seen those behaviors from our parents, of course that comes down. But all of that, those behavioral problems, whatever people want to label things as, it is a safety mechanism of the nervous system, okay? Now, and not in this class, but in a different class, we will talk about different ways to handle those situations with family units and loved ones and things like that, okay? But that is the basis of that. This is not about becoming somebody else. This is simply about becoming yourself and understanding yourself. It's about learning and gaining the awareness about why we think the way that we do, why we feel the way that we do, why we might repeat patterns that we do, why we might feel overwhelmed, why we might feel frustration or stress. And real quickly, right now, I would like you to get your pen and paper. I would like you to get your original event that you brought in the beginning of this class. And I would like you to ask yourself, does that event shift the way you think about yourself? Do you think it has any implementation on how you have thought about yourself, or do you think it currently is inflicting how you think of the way that you do? Now, how does it shift how you feel, the way that you feel, and what ways do you typically feel? And with that original event, does it cause any avoidance? And if so, what do you think it might be causing? What type of avoidance? And what would you possibly be avoiding? Does it bring any type of overwhelm? Does it maybe cause any lack of motivation or any uncomfortability? Not just when you're kind of like thinking about it, but I mean in your life as a whole. Or has it any of those? I'll just give you a few minutes. And a little bit of reasoning why asking these questions and covering this aspect of it is because this is going to help bring the teaching aspect of your brain and your nervous system into more of a growth aspect, and learning that safety is okay. Not learning that safety is okay. Learning that feeling those types of things, those discomforts, regaining the power within them is safe. It's allowing you to connect with your emotions and your different things that, your sensations in your body. So like, if you don't really, you don't, like I said, you don't have to think about the things. You can like feel into your body. And I teach, this in our sessions and the different tools. But you can feel, and you can just allow yourself to feel what is known as discomfort, but then to help override it into that safety aspect. And once we gain the ability to teach our brain that we are safe and that we have the power within us to control ourselves and how to do it, we then live in a state of safety. We live in the ability to create and heal and connect and grow and be and prosper and be absolutely abundant within all of the change that is unlimited to us and within us. So now we are down to our reflection questions. If you have the PDF, you don't really have to write anything down. If you do not have the PDF, I want you to write these questions down. These are not ones to answer real quickly. These are ones to have answered by the time you come back for Module 2, okay? Here's the first one. When you think about your biggest goals or dreams, what emotions immediately arise within you? And if you are writing, can you put like a W so I know you're writing? And so I know how many people I need to wait for done? 2 people are writing. Okay, perfect. And then whenever you are done writing your question, please put done. If you have your PDF, you don't have to stay for this last part unless you want to stay for the discussion in the session, okay? What situations in your life do you avoid the most? What situations in your life do you avoid most often? What do you do when you feel uncomfortable emotions? What are the most frequent uncomfortable emotions that you are used to feeling? What did your family teach you about emotions? Not just in the state of this is an emotion, but through everyday life. And can you give an example? Have you ever considered that your behaviors may be survival responses rather than personal failures? And now, after this module, how do you feel about this now? What would change if you viewed yourself through the lens of understanding rather than judgment? And how do you think society would change if they all did the same? Not just for themselves, but for everyone. What would become possible if growth began to feel safe? And now I would like you quickly, just if you're still on here, quickly gather your event that you chose in the beginning of class that you gave the number to, and I would like you to see if it has shifted. And I would like you to quickly just write down the number 0 to 20, how it has shifted, and maybe just a word or two, and be done with that. So that is the end of Module 1. We are going to hop into our discussion. Again, we are going to be discussing things about Module 1, and we'll also be covering any type of things that anybody needs to talk about, okay? I open the floor completely. I provide awareness or suggestions, or as well as other people can. Again, this is like a big group circle. You can come in with your screens on, you can come in with your screens off, you can come in with your name on your screen, you can come in with a fake name on your screen, completely anonymously or completely yourself, however you want to do it. The sessions, I turn off the microphones completely. There is no talking besides me. And then after the session, which is the totality of health session, we then go into whoever wants to stay for a discussion on that. All right. So I want everybody, before we hop off for the class today, I want you to know how proud I am of you, how much it means to me that you are all here. And I want you to do one last thing. I want you to tell yourself, I am proud of myself. I love myself. I care about myself so much that I keep showing up for myself every single moment of every single day. I allow empowerment to hold me. And I am exhilarating my authenticity. Thank you for being here. Have a great day. All right, for everybody who is ready to hop on our discussion, I am ready. I am turning off the recording.